So today we're going to talk about reverse breathing for both meditation and chi building and also for combat. Now, this is normally like an complexified topic, so I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I can. And so what we're talking about when you say reverse breathing is when you're breathing up into your rib cage. A common misconception is to never let your rib cage expand, but it really depends on the technique. Like in meditation or in fighting, you typically want to keep the top of the vase closed. Now, your Huiyan cavity will not fully expand at all during this entire process because when you breathe into your rib cage, you're still in the Huiyan cavity and keeping the top of the vase closed, the top of the vase being your rib cage. And so when you breathe out, you will tighten everything and pull everything up. So when you breathe in, you'll come up, and it depends what you're doing, right? So this is where you have to kind of draw the line. If you're doing meditation or for chi building, you're going to breathe up into your rib cage and squeeze. And then when you breathe down, you're not releasing, but you're going to compress everything. So as the blood pressure is going down, you're going to compress everything. So let me give you a good example, right? If you're fighting, your reverse breathing is going to be like this. And you retighten everything and press. So every time, it's just like in Surya Namaskar or Ashtanga Yoga. When you breathe into the rib cage, you squeeze and compress. And then when you breathe out, you squeeze and compress. And what this is going to do, it's going to force blood pressure into your arms. And it's also going to thicken your fascia, depending on how much training you have gone through. It depends on how much it will thicken your fascia, because you got to clear those pathways out. So like when I was doing iron limb at my best, when you get a good, and you really get that blood pressure, you can feel it fill your arms and cushion the blow. And I mean, for iron forearm and stuff, you're still going to get light microfractures, but as it gets more intense, you can use your breathing to pad it and give yourself more duration in your iron forearm training. But it's the same thing with boxing, same things with a lot of the striking in Southern styles. And again, you're just pushing blood pressure into your arms. So it really depends on if you need to solidify your core or get more blood pressure in your arms. Obviously, if we're talking like Dim Mak or Chi Theory expression out of your fingertips, whether it's fighting or massage, you want to get more blood pressure down your arm, because where blood follows, chi follows. Where chi goes, blood follows. You're familiar with that whole philosophy if you understand Qigong concepts and stuff like that. So what's different is when you're doing the Qigong or meditations, instead of pushing it all and compressing constantly like you are with the striking, you're going to push everything down but compress it at the same time. And that's what I'll be doing today when I do all my sequences, because I'm not trying to strike anybody. I don't need that extra blood pressure or bioelectric function in my arm. I'll be compressing it to build better bioelectric function for later. So what I was saying is when you're doing the striking and you just compress, breathe in, compress, breathe out, don't expand your ribs like I'm showing you right now, is how you would go when you're breathing. So doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're throwing American boxing or you're doing chewies, you're constantly breathing in. You're technically not doing a breathe in and breathe out. You're breathing in, expelling what you have to impulses, and then giving a really quick breathe in. So when you're doing something like Wing Chun, it's like you see you're constantly breathing in. There is no separation. Unless you're striking, the breathing should not change. It should just be a continuous flow. But when you're packing for meditation or chi building or qigong, if you will, you're going to breathe up, and then you push down the blood pressure and almost catch it with the air. Like I call it shooting the arrow. So from your reverse breath, whether you're expanding the rib cage or keeping it compressed in the qigong or chi building or meditation, you're going to catch it as it goes down. So whether you're doing something like dip Gwut Gung and you're spreading, you will compress the false dantian, the back portion where your kidneys are, and the Huiyan cavity at the same time. You don't want to squeeze as hard as you possibly can, but you will definitely notice some type of bioelectric manifestation. I don't like to share mine, because when masters or teachers do that stuff, it puts in your mind what it should look like or what you should experience when you experience more bioelectric function in your lower dantian. So the more you do it in practice, you'll get your own understanding of it, whether it's heat, whether it's tingling, whether it's vibration, whether it's bubbles, as they say. But again, I don't share mine. But what you're going for is, whether your vase is closed, being the top of your rib cage, is to get the blood pressure up. And then when you push down, you're just compressing it. So you're pulling into the rib cage, pushing it down, pulling into the rib cage, pushing it down. So for the duration of these sequences, I'll be pulling into the rib cage and pushing it down, again, because I'm not fighting anybody or doing anything where I need to expel that much bioelectric function, or I don't need blood pressure in my arms. It also makes a difference whether or not you're doing something more external or internal. If you're doing something more internal, like, again, if you're doing like finger strikes, you obviously want more blood pressure into your fingers. But if you're doing something like a whipping strike, you want to solidify your base. And that's what I meant in the beginning when I had said it depends on what you're doing. If you need the projection in your limb for the extra blood pressure, at that point you're going to do the continuous pulling in and pushing out. If you're going to solidify the base, you want to root at the same time that you're shooting down to solidify your core and your base. So it really depends what style you're doing. But even if you're doing something more external or projective, you still want to drop your center of gravity like a ½ inch to an inch to root yourself. You always want to root yourself. I mean, even if you're just doing boxing, you know, you pick up and you drop that ½ inch every time you step, you drop just a little bit, just to get the better rooting and solidification of the strike, all right? So I'm gonna get right into this. I think I've done enough talking, about 5-6 minutes of talking. So if you need to see that beginning intro, go ahead back and check it out. But I'm gonna get right into it. So I'm gonna start with Gwut Gung, which is out of the Southern Shaolin family praying mantis, or Shaolin Nan Tang Chuan, if you will. If you're going to do this exercise, all I ask is that you only do it to 30% or 50%. It is kind of advanced, and there are certain things you can do that is actually unhealthy for your organ system. If you push yourself too far in reverse breathing techniques, I've been told you can actually like break a rib or puncture a lung or an organ. I haven't experienced that. What I did experience was the head of Wing Chun, or the person that I know is the head of Wing Chun in America, Master Keith Maza. He once told me about cooking your organs, and I was like, haha, you know, that's funny. I'm sure there's reality to it, but I never built that much chi and compression to do that. When I did Gwut Gung, someone was like, hey, be careful, this is advanced. I did it at like 50 or 80%, and I actually felt like all my organs get very uncomfortably hot. So yeah, it is a real thing. Just be careful. Go at like 30 to 50% if you're going to do it, and you'll still feel the technique and get the sensation. You should get really hot when you're doing it, but you know, just chill. You know, build yourself up to it. To my understanding, you're supposed to go through like the whole first 5 sequences before you do this. But I'm kind of stupid in that sense, because I know how to fix and rebalance things like I taught in the Yoga Qigong Expert in 5 Steps series. You know, so anything I do, I just went through my whole reset series and I'm fine. But it was pretty uncomfortable, man. It got really, really funny feeling in my gut. So anyway, so I'm gonna get right into this. The sequence is in the descriptions if you want to see everything I'm doing. I may stop for light instruction, but what you're seeing is that first one when I'm expanding up, breathing in, and then pushing it down and compressing it. And you do that in all the mantis sequences. And it's the same for the white crane sequences that you'll see after that. And then Baji Xiao Jia is the same, but there's more of I'll talk about that in a second. So let's get right into it with Gwut Gung. Oh yeah, don't mind the shorts. People complained about me not being strong enough or my legs not being big enough, and I was like, you know what, check this out. All right, so here we go. Check my space here. This first exercise for Gwut Gung is preliminary. The actual exercise is the third exercise. Second exercise. Okay, third exercise. I can be a little closer to this one. In case you're wondering, dip Gwut Gung means rib bone power. So that's why you see me lifting and opening my rib cage, which is typically the opposite of what is taught in most Kung Fu. But again, all of these sequences are foundational sequences designed to both build up the strength of your organs and your muscles, and some of them are designed to seal acupuncture points, stuff like that. But for this one specifically, you're just opening your rib cage and then compressing down. But again, be careful if you're practicing for your first time. Third sequence, this is the actual dip Gwut Gung. So I can get enough space here. Okay, that's enough space. And every time I do that, by the way, I'm going to add this in really quick. When you're doing your Kung Fu salute, that is a chance for you to practice your fully opening and compressing. So when you see me come like this, no matter what style I'm doing, I'm breathing in, and I'm imagining I'm pulling everything in right here, opening the rib cage, and then push down, and you catch it all right here. So every single time you do your intro Kung Fu salute, you should be doing a solid packing reverse breath every single time. Right? All right, and again, when you compress it, you're pulling your Huyan, your lower dantian, your false dantian, and back where your kidneys are in at the same time, and almost pushing against the blood pressure shooting down. Let me get right into it. Third exercise for dip Gwut Gung. Okay, so I'm taking minute breaks between everything. Sorry to go again at 10 seconds. So if you notice, when I do my dip Gwut Gung, I'm expanding and compressing. Even with these, when I grab and then twist and rotate, I'm letting my rib cage expand and then compressing. Same thing when I was doing the single arms, I was letting the rib cage go as much as it could up and then compressing all the way down. Anything else important from that? No, I'll go to the next one. The next sequence will be Sarm Bo Jin. When you do Sarm Bo Jin, this is different. I highly encourage you to look into some of Paul Whitrod's material on this. You actually breathe, you practice breathing into the upper dantian or middle dantian with the base sealed, and then you'll shoot it down and expand, and then shoot it out, and then pull in here, and then shoot it down and expand. So when you're seeing me do this, I'm shooting it down. Here I'm expanding the lower dantian, and then I shoot forward, and that all compresses, and I start the process over again. It's really complex, but it's really good for your internal martial arts studies. All right, time to go. Next one, Sarm Bo Jin. And how much space do I need? I think we're good here. Okay. Whew. What is the other one? Hold on. Okay, I know what's up. So next is Sarm Jin Yui Kui, which again is just a basic pull up, compress down. What about Sarm Bo Jin? I was thinking about. No, I can't remember. Doesn't matter. If you can see close enough, I don't know how clean the camera is, but you should be able to see that I'm doing the packing reverse breath as opposed to the projecting reverse breath. When I do the Wing Chun, I will do a little bit more projective reverse breath as opposed to compressing. 20 seconds. Have some tea. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ah. So I screwed that up early, so I'll go ahead and start that one over. Woo! That turn always gets me, because every time you do that turn, when you go, you're here, you're supposed to turn and just jump right into that first bridge, drag it down, grab, and strike through. And that's why I like the live recordings. It puts a little bit of pressure on me. There's lots of pressure in this street fight, so it's good to have a little bit of pressure on the camera. All right, let me try this again. No break, I messed up. Okay, that's the end of the mantis. I don't know if you can tell or not, but that pulse breath that I was doing, that's what I was talking about in the beginning. When you see me step in here, it goes really quick. If you can, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I was going Phoenix Eye extend. So, going for the harder strike and then reach out for the eye or the throat, whatever soft target you have to get in that last split second Gen shock moment. And again, you're doing a full reverse breath, solidifying the core while you're thrusting forward. 1 minute. Perfect timing. What's next? Next will be white crane, Qing Quan. Sipping on some tea. 30 seconds. So if you do sequences or anything at home, it's good to time things. As a bodybuilder, you really shouldn't be taking more than, I think, 90 seconds in a break. I'm doing 60s today. I'll try to get down to 30s. And I mean, if you go through all your bodybuilding or calisthenics, whatever you're doing, and with no breaks, like I did today, and then you go through your sequences in less than 60 or 30 seconds after that, and then you're doing back-to-back sequences, no more than 30, 60 seconds, you're going to actually pack on muscle. Just make sure you're taking the protein you need to be able to heal. But I think a lot of people probably think they are not taking long breaks, but trust me, you're probably taking a longer break than you think. Try going through your sequences with 30-second breaks, full intensity fight speed, and you'll see what I mean. Alrighty. So, Qing Quan, maybe I have to have enough space here. Okay, yeah, we're good. I think, yeah. Mm. And remember, these are mostly all foundational forms until I get to the Wing Chun. Just teach, build up your tendons and ligament strength for striking. And then, of course, the internal side. Whew. But even the Wing Chun stuff that I present, I only present at a basic level. There are advanced levels of all the Wing Chun, both the sections of the sequences and the sequences themselves. And again, I'm only showing the basic foundational version of them. But that's not till 2 sequences away. All right. Let me enjoy my last 40 seconds of my 1-minute break. Oh yeah. Love the no view, that's always good. They come and go. It goes like up to 10, and then down to 1, and then up to 10, and then down to 1, and then 0. It's nice though. It's good to have a break. Okay, next will be Shan He Quan. Yeah, Shan He Quan from the Baji Quan system. Should technically probably be Nan Bai He Quan, but Baht Jaam Do. Okay. So this one is going to be same thing, compression style, but whipping. And again, you're using the compression in your core to solidify the whip as you're going through. And last time, you know, again, being a foundational one, you really want to get a full range of motion with a lot of these, with a lot of the foundational sequences. You want to make sure you get a full range of motion. You're doing everything perfectly. You are not going to fight like you would in any foundational building, internal or ligament strengthening form. It's just to prepare you for your next step in the system. But anyway, here it is. Shan He Quan or Baji Quan. Space don't need. Okay, whew. That was fun. That one's really good for internal, by the way. If you're doing that full reverse breath, you'll feel that in the rear of your pleural cavity, your upper pleural cavity, like nothing else. It'll really keep your upper pleural area very, very clear and clean. You'll actually, the first time you do it, if you ever study that, you'll be sore somehow. You'll be completely sore around the back of your lungs just from the breath of pushing so violently against the back of your lungs and your rib cage. Okay, my 1 minute breath and then on to Baji Xiao Jia. And that last one, when I turned, was kind of sloppy. You come around, groin shot, check the leg, groin shot, kind of pulling up here at the same time, and then you step forward. Got a little nervous. But anyway, it's fine. So I got to move this camera for Baji Xiao Jia. I don't know how it's going to go. I've never moved the camera here before, so we'll see how it turns out. Get my other shoes out of the way. My Bagwa shoes. Okay. That should be good enough. A little bit over maybe. There should be enough space. I think that'll work out. I hope the camera doesn't fall when I start stomping the ground. My Bagwa shoes. Alright. Couple more seconds. Baji! Baji is fun stuff. Alright. I got plenty, okay, perfect. Whew. I'll have to go back and see how clean that was. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. All right, back to Shmiel. It was on a Wing Chun now. Let me go check my list. Check it twice. Okie dokie. Yep, give me 1 minute break and then we're on the Wing Chun Chuan. Whew, that was fun. Yeah, that Baji Chuan form is fun because you're like smashing into your legs and your upper body and your arms. It's a conditioning form, not just for the rooting power, but there's a bunch of techniques in there. And the stomping actually builds marrow. When you first start, you'll kind of feel your bones are kind of stingy, and that's what helps stimulate the marrow growth, making your bones harder. Mm. 20 seconds. I was wondering how long this would take today too. We're not doing bad actually. It's about halfway through already. 20 minutes, so good bit shorter than last time. Here we go. All right. Do some Sil Lum Tao. R.I.P. Master Clayton. Rest in peace, brother. Sifu. And that was Sil Lum Tao from Wing Chun Chuan. 60 seconds on the clock. Moving on to Chum Kil. I've modified some of my stuff. So when you see my Chum Kil, I understand that the motion is this. But you may see me, when I step out of this, I like to come here. I like to do a lot of stuff for multiple attackers, and there's always that guy coming up on your six. So after I go here in the first section, I come here to pop this guy in the philtrum of the throat that's rolling up on me. And again, the proper technique is here, in case you've never seen it. But again, ask your teacher. Always do what your teacher says. They should have lots of fight experience. But my stuff is modified, so from traditional. Hold me breath. Yeah, camera's way more stressful. All right. Let's see if I have enough space here. I need to go here. Okay, that should be enough space. Chum Kil, Wing Chun Chuan. I might do that again from further back. I didn't know you couldn't see the edges. I tried turning the camera sideways last time, and YouTube's like, you must do a special advanced setting before you can turn your camera sideways. Alright, 50 seconds. So I'll do Sil Lum Tao again. As you can see, I need a little bit of practice anyway. I mean, not Sil Lum Tao, Chum Kil. Yeah, I'm getting tired. I'm going to slow it down too. I know the camera can't catch everything. What do we got going on over here? 2. Cool. Okay, let's get ready. So we get a little more space this time. Hopefully you can see everything. I'll be watching to see if I can or not. Messed up. I'm safe to my version. Hold up. One more time. was a little better, I guess. You still can't really see. The ends cut things off. I gotta push the camera back maybe next time. Let me push it back real quick. How far can I go back? Okay. Ready for Bil Jee. That's a little better, I guess. You're still not going to be able to see it all, but I'll try. Okay, we need 30 seconds on that break. Bil Jee. Okay, this will be a good test. It's a really hard breath consuming sequence, so let's see if I can do it. I'm not fully recovered yet, but whatever. Woo! That's rough. Okay. And that's about Baht Jaam Do. Get back and watch that one. I messed up the first. When I went this way, I went for the Bil Jee or the Bil Sao to catch the hook and then shoot under to the neck or solar plexus, eyeball, whatever you're going for. I had to start to go over, and yeah, still better than last time though, 2 weeks ago. All right. Also different from last week, I forgot the one where you grab, tip them off balance, hit them in the lower striking points, chamber around the strike, pull them into the upper, come back around to this guy, hit him in the throat too. I forgot that last time for some reason. Okay. So this time for Baht Jaam Do and the Filipino sword stuff, I'll be wearing football receiver gloves. It's always good to work on your grip, but I'm sweating a lot and it's going to slip out of my hand. In hindsight, it's probably pretty good. If you ever end up in a real situation, I've heard, I have never been in a real knife situation where I've been cut and they've been bleeding out, but I've been told that blood is very slippery. So it is probably good not to do the receiver gloves sometimes, but for the amount of work I'm about to do, it's good to have. I mean, and you're just trying to build up ligament strength at that point. I can grip them, but the sweat just makes them so slippery. Alrighty. I guess no music this time. I ended up getting carried away doing light tutorials. Anything on the Bil Jee that I feel like sharing? No, I'm still learning myself. Okie dokie then, arm to Baht Jaam Do. A lot of people call these butterfly swords. They're actually called 8 slashing knives in Wing Chun. Do a little research, pretty cool stuff. But they are very similar to butterfly swords. Actually, these should be about this short. So these are a little bit long for me. Yeah, but it is what it is. I got what I got. They're not that bad, and they got good weight to them, so it's good to practice out like with heavier weights. I think I have enough space here. Should be enough space. Alrighty, let's jump right into it. Yuki. Those are rough. I will share one thing out of this. So I taught Filipino knife and sword and stick fighting for years. And you do a lot of the simple guards and rotations. Two things. Don't ever rotate like this. See that open hand crap? A lot of people do this in Filipino stuff and in Kung Fu and Karate. Don't ever let your grip come off your knife. It looks cool in tournament and forms, but you should always have a firm grip. It's one of the reasons I switched to these gloves. So that, and also a lot of these guards, if you're blocking something bigger, a good fighter is going to go for your wrists and your tendons, so you can't hold a knife. So all those motions you see where I'm here, you are slashing, but you're also blocking. And one thing I've only seen in Wing Chun is this double reverse block as you come back. Cool stuff. Check it out. Baht Jaam Do. Woo! I'll take a quick minute. My ligaments are not as happy. Next is Filipino stick and sword drills and sequences. I will take exactly about 50 seconds more on that. Woo! My left hand, brutal stuff. So, it'll probably be longer than 50 seconds, so I'm going to explain some stuff real quick. So whether you're swinging a stick, a sword, an iron, a beer bottle, a piece of a broken chair in a bar fight, it's good to build up your wrist conditioning so you can really grip upon impact. I think one thing that's like highly overlooked, both in street fighting and boxing, that people don't know is you always want to clinch on impact, like really, really hard, really quick, just last second, clinch up, turn your hand into a stone. It's the same thing with cutting. You know, people get this idea that you can just have this like halfway grip and do this cutting and striking. No, you need to grip on impact, especially if you're trying to like, you know, really sever a tendon or, you know, heaven forbid, I don't do these things, but I do understand the process of teaching them. Things like tendons and veins have the thickness of a garden hose. I mean, if you're not squeezing hard enough and your blade's not sharp enough to go through a garden hose, you're not prepared to wipe out a bunch of people trying to cut you or take your life. These will help you prepare for that. I like to tell people, and I taught Filipino martial arts for 3 years. I was 2013 Baltimore, Maryland's no weight classes stick champion, Filipino fighting stick champion. So I know a little something. And you want to build both your strength tendons and your speed tendons. They're different things. I don't go anything lighter than these. Sometimes I do for fun, but you'll see I'm going to add in some footwork this time. I do foundational stuff with these, but I'll start with double stick single irons. These irons are not like, they're not light. They're pretty heavy stuff. If I had to guess, I want to say about 4 or 5 pounds each, something like that. It's hard to tell because it's an old, it's like a iron pylon for a railing. And again, the gloves, I've got like roof wrap stuff on here is why I got the gloves on, and these are duct tape. So again, I'll be doing singles and then double irons and then double stick and single stick. But that's how you want to build up both the strength that you need and endurance for a real situation and the speed. So you want to have both the strength training and the speed training. Should never overlook either. Let's get right into it though. Okay. And always change directions you're doing things, right? So I'll start off with the double Sinawale Trapelan. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, I went this way, so I'll go this way. And what that is, the double Sinawale, if you're not familiar, everyone has seen this technique, typically speaking, in Filipino martial arts or martial arts at some point. And you may not know, the purpose of it is you're checking the weapon, slicing the hand or arm, then slicing the head or neck. And then you're on to the next person, weapon, arm, head. But for the Trapelan version, you're going to go weapon, arm, get another weapon out of the way, then cut the head. Same thing, you're going to go weapon, arm, shoot that second weapon, and slice, okay? And you'll see I do it with footwork, and I'll stop about at the very last technique so I can explain something else so you can try it at home. But here we go. And I'll do 4 directions, and then I'll come back around and do regular Sinawale as I just explained. I'm going that way. All right, so, and these are pretty heavy if you can't tell. I'm not able to swing them really hard. I ain't trying. Okay, now you're probably familiar with Cuatro Cantos or 4-corner training at some level or another, but what they normally teach is there's one person and you're attacking left side, right side. It's more fun if you want to step up your Sinawale training in your Cuatro Cantos versions, is to pretend there's 8. Obviously, I'm not saying you can kill 8 people with this technique before they can knock you out. It's just practicing that, being able to move next person to the next person. So what you saw me doing in either one of the techniques is there's a guy to this corner, bam, bam, done. Next person, bam, bam, done. Now you're going all the way over here, this guy, bam, 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 bam. Again, it's not going to happen this way, obviously, but it's good to practice doing that quick change in direction and maintaining your technique. Now normally I would have gone right into the high, medium, low, but I figured this time I'd offer some tutorial on the high, medium, low. What I mean by the high, medium, low is this technique that you saw me do last time, where you go high, medium, low, but I only showed it at an advanced level where you're using the centrifugal force of the sticks to turn you. So this time, I'm going to show you a little bit differently. You'll go, and I gotta figure out how to go. Anyway, I haven't done it slow in a while. So if you're doing it slow as a beginner, you have your 2 sticks, one here, right? You're going to swing high, bring your feet together, mid, low. High, oh, I should have leaned first, low, high, mid, low, high, mid, low. And then you'll start changing directions eventually. You would go from here, high, mid, low, high, mid, low. I messed up. Like I said, I'm so used to doing it fast. I'll do it my version and you'll see. This is what it looks like when it's fast. All right, let's go this way first. Okay, so like I said, going fast is a lot easier than going slow. Let's see if I can do that. I like teaching beginnings here. I should be able to do this better. 1, 2. There we go. Anyway, so that's just the warm up with the irons. I always do double irons to warm up and then switch right into double. So we'll simplify what we did last time. You got something heavy, grab your heaviest equipment for this. It's not going to be very long, it's just a warm up for strength training. You'll put both your irons, your heaviest object, in one hand. If you're using a live sword, be careful you don't fillet anything. Alrighty. So, 1. Just doing a couple of basic exercises. Real quick, hold on, before I continue. I haven't done any salutes, and it's important I share this because I am sharing before I get started any further. I respect and appreciate the knowledge I have received and am giving. Alrighty, now let's move on. So we'll do 10 of these, 5 on each side, with the footwork. And then upwards. And switch. And upwards. All right. Now we'll do some trapelon, which is twisted strike. Yesterday I did reverse forward, forward down. So I'll do forward up and reverse down. 5 of each. Whew. Okay, and these you're just gonna shift as you're doing them. They're pretty brutal if you make it through all of them. It's 3 times 5 or 6 times 5. It's 30 different strikes with double iron or your heaviest object. So here we go. Start on the bottom, going forward. High, medium, and low, and then reverse. High, medium, low. That's 1. 2, doing 5. These will also make your hands super hard, all this conditioning. And 5, other side. And again, so this time I went forward, up, reverse, down. So the next time I do this, I'll do reverse, up, forward, down. Keep everything fresh and building. 1, 2. Head, elbow, knee, knee, elbow, head. Two more. Is that 2 or 1? I'll do another one, who cares? My left is weaker than my right anyway. And in case you're wondering, before I move on to the baikos or fan striking, a lot of people in Filipino martial arts, you'll see they integrate sticking their arm out in the technique. Now, I have nothing against that in practice, but at some point you have to, like I was taught to just keep my hand back as a reserve and be able to deflect and train it to be able to react, be more reactive. I do not think it's smart. If you're gonna expect, if you're in high intensity or high confrontation areas or situations, to practice sticking your arm out for no reason, because eventually one of these times you're going to stick your arm out when you probably shouldn't, if that's how you train, you know, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever. If you're always sticking your arm out as part of a technique, then you're going to start sticking your arm out as a technique. And I highly encourage people to either do both, do your techniques with the checks and then do it again without the checks. So at least you can be thinking more. Just like I said, I practice which way I go with my training, which way I'm spinning the stick, is to keep it fresh in my mind. So I'm always thinking while I'm training. All right, let's get into some baikos. I'll do it with and without feet, 10 of each. All right, so baiko is this version or this version. I'll be doing this one first, and again, I'll do with feet and then without. I like to, we actually call this the wiper blade. It's a really good deflector. So you're here. 10, and 10 without. And again, even with these, don't stick to just doing it. You know, obviously you want to be out of the oncoming strike as you block, but sometimes you may not have that choice. You may have to firm up and a strike going into it and hit closer to here as opposed to here. I mean, this is more for disarming and this is more for blocking, But if you have to get closer because you're close and just firm the strike to block that way, you can. But obviously you want to be out of the way of the strike no matter which way it's coming in. But, you know, you should integrate and practice both. All right, other hand. All right. Standing still. You can speed it up and really get that ligament training. All right. For the upper baniko, make sure you go past the point. I don't care how far you can go this way or this way. Just make sure you're going in a full fan to get your ligaments and joints conditioned for the movement. Do not blow your shoulder out doing this with a heavy object. It's always a possibility, even at my level. All right. And again, we'll do and then 10 without. And switch. Before I do, for the 5 people watching, you may not know this, but the fastest technique, if you have a stick in your hand, bow is the fastest technique, because if you're coming down, you kind of drop you drop your guard and your stick's down. You can always thrust out of that. But when you're here, your options are so fast that with the stick, if you have anything in your hand and you can just bam, real quick, pop in the temple, anywhere in the skull. I've been hit with one of these rattan sticks, but when I was going through the Filipino stuff with a buddy, I told him I could take the stick away from him back when I used to drink. I didn't get the stick, and he like shattered the earth under my feet when he popped me. But he just did a top strike. But anytime you can rattle somebody, just bam, turning your wrist is the fastest motion of a strike that you can accomplish. Check it out and try it for yourself. All right, back to the baniko. And you don't have to wind up for it. You can pop them here and then just bam, pop them the other way. Real quick taps is what the baniko is good for. It's good for blocking and for striking. Alrighty then. Alright, that's the end of the doubles. Go into a single. And now we'll go into some sequences. The sequences will be more clear with a single stick than they will with the iron than they will with the stick, because obviously I have to slow down. I can't move that fast, or you work your tendons out. But we'll get right into it. I'll do 3 different sequences. You should be able to get the idea. Make sure I have enough space here. Yeah, so what I was trying to say when I messed up is with your baniko strikes, if you're bam, bam, you can double tap really quick no matter how you're doing it. But again, if you're from here and you have a stick in your hand, going like this and coming down, you're not going to get a lot of power from here, but you can, if you torque to your body, you could pull enough power to really rattle them. But if you just turn your hand really quick, it's one of the fastest ones. It gives you lots of guard. Obviously, you always want to step out of the way, so you want to kind of try to step and then do it at the same time. But this, unless you're training to pull it into your guard and pull it closer to your body at the last second, you're just not going to get the torquing power that you will with the twist. That's what I was trying to say when I got all bumbled there for a second. All right. Okay, start with the basic 8 directions. Whoop, messed up. Oh, man, I am must be getting gassed. All right, forget this. All right, 8 directions. Now you should have seen some of the stuff. You should have seen that wiper blade block here, and then come in for the stab. The other one, I call it the unzip. So when you saw me go down, down, up, up, that 5th one is unzipping. You're stepping into the guard and just slicing right up. And it doesn't matter, again, if you're using a stick, a knife, a beer bottle, whatever you have around you, a broken piece of a chair. The unzip is nice, especially coming out of that guard. Other side. And if you ever wondered, these are groin shots, but you can also hit a knee, back of the leg, a hamstring, whatever you got. But all the traditional masters I've met are always real quick and real serious about them groin shots being everywhere. All right, moving on, 4 directions. This one's a little more fun. See if I have enough space to do the whole thing without breaking anything. All righty. Other side. I'm not good at my lefty, hold on. I've been practicing, but it doesn't really always matter. I'm getting off camera, no! Alright, I try to keep it in camera, it's rough. But those are just fun to practice those behind guard blocks if you're in a multiple person situation. Again, I'm not saying it will be the perfect move for any fight, but it's good to have it and need it, then need it and not have it. Alright, last one. This one I'm better on. I don't know why that left four corners always messes me up bad. Groin shot, come around, top stab, groin shot. Like I said, lots of groin shots. All right, moving on. All right. Anything there specifically? Oh yeah. So I remember before I said not to stick your arm out. That one technique I was just doing is very specific to that movement. So here I came in, block, triangle slice, and then you go into the second block on the other side, strike the temple, slide your hand under their elbow, and then you come down, disarm, completely disarm and slice the gut, and then you go into that next sequence. I just want to show the disarm of why I was putting my arm out there. Moving right along the sticks. Woo! Okay. Same as before, just this time with sticks. Moving a little faster. Get those speed ligaments, tendons, and muscles working. We just worked on the weighted irons. So let's move on to some speed stuff. We're going that way, so it means I'm starting this way. Yep. Nope, wrong way. It's okay. Gotta be adapted. Ah. Alrighty. My hand feels better. Single stick. Last one. Whew, okay. And one thing I forgot, we'll just go ahead and do at the end. Make sure you do all those conditioning exercises with speed that we did in the beginning. So we did what we did in the beginning. We won't do the ones and twos, we just did them. So we'll just do the trapézon and the abanico. So again, we were going forward up, reverse down. Other side, 5 each. I gotta slow down my left so I can get a good range of motion. It's all weird and rigid sometimes. Okay, do some bunnicos. These I'm not going to do the stepping with, just to get the speed, strength of my wrist up. Just do like 20 of each. Top. All right, other side. All right. Okay. Quick reset before Tai Chi and Shingy and Bagwa, and moving right along. That may be the last stick tutorial I ever do. In 2 weeks when I do this again, I'll probably just do the whole thing straight through. Okay, let me set up for Tai Chi. How am I going to do this? No, I'm going to take these off too. Done with that. Can't believe I messed up that one. 4 directions with the irons, man. I've been practicing so hard the past 2 weeks. But like I said, camera makes you nervous, and it's good to train nervous because fights are a little nerve-wracking. Okay. Yeah, I just need to put a little bit of light over here. Let's see. Tai Chi 24 takes a lot of space. I think that should cover it. You can see there. See there. Yeah, that ought to be good. Light. First time shooting from this angle. My Tai Chi 24 is a little different, guys. Like I said, I modified some of my stuff to be a little more street applicable. Alright. Close this door because it's going to get loud. Some crazy loud car drives by. Yeah. So when I'm doing on some of my Tai Chi, let me think about a good example. Okay, so after you've done the repel the monkeys, right, you end up here, come around. Typically this is an arm break, but a lot of times it's also good to be able to chamber down and shoot that wrist. I mean, technically it's a wood motion because you're shooting it straight, but you're using your wrist so it kind of comes out as earth. But I mean, you could also chamber down and pop the nose really quick with the wrist. But I spend a lot of time conditioning my wrist, so don't always. Remember, Neja is open to interpretation. They are basic functions. So when you're here, obviously you want to go for that elbow break, but you can also obviously go for the strikes to the ribs. You can come over top and go to the head, or you can do what I do and just shoot the wrist out real quick. I find a lot of good speed there. But I'll just do my quick 24 here. That looks like enough space. Yeah, I should be about here when I come to here. Okay, yeah. Woo! I can't wait to watch this video and be like, that's way too far away. A little bit. All right. Okay, not my worst, but not my best. Turn that light off. So, if you did notice in my Tai Chi 24, however, I probably didn't hit 6 minutes, but I did end where I started, and that's always a good, it's a good sign. Tai Chi 24 is supposed to end exactly where it started. All right, moving right along to Shingy and Bagwa, and we are done. Yeah, this video went longer than I thought. That stick and irons tutorial took forever. Back here. Cool, I think that's enough space. Looks like about right. The Bagwa takes a ton of space. I'll leave all that stuff there. Let's see, what else in my Tai Chi 24? Yeah, so I probably didn't go the whole 6 minutes perfectly, but I did stop where I finished. And if you notice, there are a couple things I did differently. One, when I scoop, I come up into a full double guard, and then I push out of it from here, boom, boom. And also, I don't do this version where you sweep down going forward. I am coming around with an earth style wrist block and ducking at the same time. So if you noticed, after I came here, turned, picked up, boom, I come here, and if you notice, I always duck a little bit because I'm blocking something, sweeping down for the groin shot of the next guy, bam, and then going for that knee or that kick, and then same thing, you turn, boom. I like to lean, just a little bit, not a lot. You don't gotta like get all crazy out of it. When you're coming here, you know, don't keep yourself straight on coming strike, boom, sweep down, boom, you know. All right, Qing Quan, here we go. I'll probably just go through all 5 elements back to back and then do the linking form. I need to get some Mo tea in me though. I forgot to filter, and this is like a raw tea, so this is gonna be brutal if I get a bunch of tea in there. Ugh. Poo air tea. It's a good fermented black tea. And it's good for digestion, so it's funny that it's called that. Some monk fruit drops, take a sip, and off we go. And then there was one. Okay, I want to make some really quick notes on my Shingy Quan. Doesn't matter if people are watching or not, but I modified this again for stuff that I've experienced and seen on the street. My turn, I was taught 5 different turns for each element, but when I do my turns in Shingy Quan, like I'll face this way. If I was here finishing Pi Chuan, I do a blocking elbow. I come boom and then rear back. Now it's not to say that if you're here and you do this, you know, you turn boom boom, you could step forward. It depends on what's happening. I don't know what's happening, and it's good to do both to be more adaptive. But when I do my turns, every turn is elbow block and then rearing back, expecting somebody to target me. I mean, if somebody's got a nasty hook at you, you don't want to have your head exactly where it is when you turn, because somebody's probably already got you lined up. So that's why my turn is different and modified. So when I'm here, boom, boom, you'll see this every time I turn. And you know, you could step forward instead of stepping back. I mean, you could come here and go forward, but again, that hook could wrap around and hit you back here and really cause some serious brain damage if you know your stuff. That's different in my Pi Chuan. What else? Cross, I want to say this is my earth. I do not know the names of everything, so you'll have to forgive me for that, but typically, if you're familiar with Shingy Quan, you're familiar with this technique where you come here and rotate out. When you see me do mine, I will be going to the ground. I live in I'd go as far as call it like a borderline Mexican ghetto, and there's a lot of really big, stocky guys here, and it gave me the idea to really solidify that when I'm doing my earth, did I say metal? Anyway, when I'm doing my earth side motions, you'll see me grab down and go all the way heel to butt down to the ground and launch out of it. Again, everything in Neijua is open to interpretation. I'm not saying if you're in a situation that this motion is not going to work for you, you grab by the collar or, you know, by their head, whatever you're doing to rotate, pull in, and launch out at the same time. I'm saying it's good to practice other stuff. And, you know, again, this is like little northern Mexico here. So you grab some big stocky Mexican, you know, they're not going to go compliantly like this. I mean, they're going to just drill a hole, drill you right to the ground or something. So I like to practice, and my brother that I grew up with was 6'6", 275. So I am aware that some people you got to put all your weight into. Again, it's not an end-all be-all technique, it's just how I do it. So I'll go through all 5 elements, and then I'll do the linking form afterwards. All right. Take a quick break. That was a little sloppy. I may do it again slower later. Once I finish the Bagwa, I'm gonna throw on some Gurbani, Sukmani, Sahib, and just goof around. So I'll probably do it then. Give me 1 second, and I'll do the 5-element linking form. Yeah, in like 30 seconds, and I'll do that. Whew. Almost done. 2 more sequences. Shingy 5-element linking form and Bagwa Jang, Bagwa Jang. It's funny that the sequence is the same as the style. It just means 8 trigram palm. Time to go. All right. All right, and Bagwa Jang in about 1 minute. Actually, I may do a little bit of a tutorial just for fun. If you ever want to know a little Bagwa, I could teach the one lower movement and the circle walking, but at a very basic level. What do we got here? What kind of space do I need? I'm going to stay right there. That looks about good. So, in Bagwa Jang, what you're doing, this is your base. It's a lot like Shingy. In Shingy, you're here, but Bagwa, it's more rotated over to here. If you know Tai Chi, then you're familiar with what I was just saying, where you're here, you come down, and you go here. This arm twists, right? Hold on. I need more space. So you're here. Nope. Here we go. So you come here, this arm here twists as you go down and out. The only difference is in Bagwa Jang, it doesn't twist. You go, think for a second, you would come here, and instead of twisting the other way, it twists this way, and you come up with it here. right? It's a lot closer to a Fuke style in Wing Chun. So the technique I try to show people to get started, just for your flexibility, is you're going to do that one technique where you'd be here, okay? Rotate, turn this one into like a Tan style palm up, like asking hand. Let this arm palm up also, and rotate down and up. And you'll do the exact same thing, go in the other direction, right? Palm up this way, palm down, here, bam. And just go back and forth. Bam. Go only as low as you can. You know, if you're here, you can only go a little bit low, and go as low as you can. Do not hurt yourself. So from here, again, this palm is facing away from your body. This one's facing into your body. And you'll just have fun doing this. Boom. Boom. And this strike, like I said, all Neja is open to interpretation. But a lot of times, I will tell you firsthand, Bagwa Zhang has a lot of groin strikes, like a lot of groin strikes. So I think that they showed a version of it in the Grandmaster, the one movie about Yip Man, when he fights the girl who knows Bagwa, and she's just like, wham, tries to go for that groin shot and strike him in the nuts real hard. And he's like, watch the failing templates. Yeah, called the Grandmaster, check it out. So that's technique one I'll show you for fun. And again, don't start super low like I was, just boom, you know, palm in, palm out. Boom, boom, boom. All right, and then eventually, when you get lower, really get that good stretch in there. Palm in, slide this one down your body. Come to palm out. And you'll end up shifting your weight, but be careful if you're a beginner that you don't hurt yourself with your leg tendons. Just to let you know, it does seem extreme, but when I first started doing this style, I had two knee braces on each knee about 10 years ago when I was 31-ish. Actually, that would have been 8 years ago, so 34. I had a sleeve on both knees and a wrap knee brace on both knees, like a heavy duty one. I don't wear knee braces anymore, so the Qigong and Kung Fu must be doing something good. Okay, so let's do some circle walking, and then I'll move on, because I did offer some light tutorials this time. So, when you're doing your circle walking, it's good to have something on the floor. I have a pack of mala tassels, right? Little tassels you put at the end of a mala. And I kind of focus on it out of your peripherals. Now, Bagwa Zhang, there's a lot of focuses happening at once, not just your reverse breathing, but everything. So when you're here, right, and you're looking at your tassels or whatever you have, I used to put a shaker cup there. You know, you have your lower hand here extended out slightly further than Shan He Quan. You're looking right here in the central space, like the lining of a gun, right? So you should be looking right here in between your thumb and your index finger. At that thing you see in your peripherals. You're not supposed to be looking at that. You're looking at your target right in front of you right there. So if you're here, and if you can picture it, when you're doing your circle walking, you should be picturing an octagon or a stop sign, if you will, because that's the motion you're going to be walking. Now be careful with your feet. I'm going to be doing the sliding version. Actually, I'm going to put on my other shoes because they slide better. Hopefully I don't got a lot of sweat on the floor because it's a nightmare if there is. But again, this is just an entry technique to get your body ready for the rest of it, for all the twisting and exploding. I actually have a funny joke if you've ever seen or practiced Bagwa Zhang. I tell people I think Bagwa Zhang was invented by a shoemaker. Like, oh yeah, slide your feet really hard against the gravel and sand, and then you'll need new shoes, and you come see me again. Anyway, not the point. I'm just being stupid. All right. So picture there's a stop sign in front of you, and you would be here. So you can step, whatever you're gonna do, here. So I have to think for a second. Okay. So you're here. You breathe in. You breathe out. You come into what you would understand as a Shingy stance. You're going to step onto this part of the stop sign, and when you look, it's okay to turn. It's okay to turn your hips a little bit when you go this way, palm up, palm in. But when you rotate out, to palm out, palm down, you do not turn at all. This should stay locked to the point where you're pushing yourself in an uncomfortable way. So this direction, when you first go here, it's a little bit of turn. Just a little bit is okay when you come to here. You should not be able to see the center until you turn your first foot up and then slide on that first diagonal. And your diagonals are always going to be your odds. Your more parallel lines are always going to be your evens. And you're going to do 8 steps. So from here, you'll go 1. If you need to turn yourself and go slower or do heel to toe at the beginning, that's fine. But typically, just like in the toes in Southern styles, you're going to go here and you kind of push into it. So, but make sure you stay balanced, okay? 2, 3. These ones are less difficult. But again, when you're here and your toe is in and you're sliding here, this can be kind of tricky. But you're going to focus, again, on that spot the whole time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you'll turn. Do the exact same thing. 2 palms here. This is what I'm doing if you can't see. Right? Slightly turn, palm up, palm in. Rotate them to the opposite. This is why I do it after the stick and knife stuff. But again, don't let yourself turn that far. Only when you step with your foot should you be directly over top of that red thing or whatever you have. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This time I'm just going to do 2 rounds without looking at you guys are talking, so you can see what it would look like. All right. You're not supposed to go up and down. So if you're going through these drills, make sure your head is not bobbing up and down. You should be as flat as you can, going through the whole thing. So, and that's tricky. Also, getting full extension with that cross leg is tricky. But again, you're building your tendons and ligaments and joints. If it was that bad for you, I'd still be wearing 2 knee braces all the time. So I'm going to go right into my sequence. That's enough of a tutorial. For anybody just tuning in, I just did a Bagwa jang tutorial on a basic beginning technique and circle walking. But I'm going to go right into this and then throw in some jams and just goof around. Alrighty then. Oh no. Uh-oh. Damn it. I'll redo the whole sequence. Oh, you really can't see the whole thing. All right. I'll have to try and change that. Alrighty, so I'll redo that. Like I said, it's good to work with the nerves of camera. So, you know, if you do Kung Fu, go practice at a park somewhere. People look at you like you're a weirdo. It's a good first step. That way you'll be a little nervous, so you'll be a little better off in your confrontation. Eventually I will turn comments back on here because, again, much like a confrontation, people yell all kinds of crazy stuff at you when a street fight's happening. So it's actually better and more realistic to have people saying crazy stuff. But yeah, so that's it. Check out the description. Check out the tutorials. There's a bunch of tutorials in here. The reverse breathing, I didn't really get into it. I'm about to do a bunch of the stuff over again and just jam out. But with the Shingy Quan, you get a lot more of that packing breathing and pushing breathing. And one thing I don't think a lot of people realize about Shingy Quan is you're not just bowing your chest like with the other ninja styles like Taiji or Bagwa. When you bow your chest, you're using it as a spring to shoot forward, right? So when you're, let's see, we'll go with Peach Quan. You're here, once you should already be in a full reverse breath. When you chamber here, let your chest bow. And then when you come out, you're dropping your center mass and releasing the bow at the same time and shoving the blood pressure down. And if you do it right, you should feel a vibration in the floor. Now, when you watch a lot of Shingy videos, they're going to do something like this and stomp. It's not that it's not good because you're going to build marrow when you do that, but you should be focusing on just lightly stepping and feeling your center mass drop. That blood pressure pushing down should rumble the floor. I've only done it maybe a handful of times in my life, cleanly all the way through the whole sequence. But that's what you got. So I'm gonna jam out and listen to music now. So what is that? Hour and 40-minute video. Holy crap. Yeah, next time I'm just seeing how fast I can go through all this in one swing. I'm not doing all the tutorials next time, which will be in 2 weeks. So if you want to see the whole thing, progress in 2 weeks, stop back by. Otherwise, I'm just gonna jam out and do some Kung Fu. But yeah, just so you know, Kung Fu is great for training. This is Kung Fu. I don't ever do more than 5 repetitions of any exercise. You can see what I do for exercise. Before this, I did Surya Namaskar, which is step 4 in the Yoga Qigong Expert in 5 Step series. And then there's a video called The Monk Exercises on this channel. It's in the Modern Monk Yogis playlist where you can see what I did. So all I do for exercise every other day is Surya Namaskar, those 5 reps of those 13 or 14 workouts. I think I'm up to like 17 now, but they're just variations of what's already on there. And then I do this. So, you know, it will get you pretty jacked. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm taking the 150 or 200 grams of protein a day to stack the muscle, but when I can get that down to 30 seconds, you know, I'm probably not going to get much bigger than this from it, but this is all just from striking and techniques and internal Kung Fu. And yeah, it's good stuff to build yourself from inside out. But like I said, I'm going to do all the stuff I wasn't happy with. I'm going to even go through all the sequences again, just for fun. Let me see. 20 minutes. Let's see if we can do everything in 20 minutes. I felt terrible about this. Let's see if we can do it. I'm jamming out though. So no more tutorials. Watch the whole thing if you're going to see tutorials. Samgarbani, Sukhmani Sahib. Waheguru. Ankar Sakhu Prasad. Okay, let's start over. Oh, somebody actually watching. Cool. Whatever, let's have some fun. No more of that seriousness. Time to play. I never made a 2-hour video before. This is going to be silly. Worst part is I watch all these videos. I'll have to watch this whole stinking 2-hour thing later. Alright, let's move around. Gwut Gung, starting over from scratch. This, gross.
जहाँ देखा मन को जाकर कहना कारण सुबह अभिजना की बसना संजना का मनुष्यना हर का नाम दास्ती उठा कहना मुझे गंतो हर दस्तर संदेगा तारा खसाल कुमार हर दंते हर नाम निदान पारम नमकीनो दान मंतारा करते रंगे कहना रंजन का भेद हर का नाम को मौजूद हर का नाम को सोचू हर का नाम प्रांग हर नाम का कारण बंदे हर का नाम की बड़ाई हर का नाम को बापाई हर का नाम को भोज हर नाम कछना योग जानता हर नाम की सेवा नाम पूजा हर हर देवा हर जन के मार्ग दीना हर का जन को वास्तव दीना हर जन के वर्ष ताणी हर प्रकार जन और न जानी और को जन हर प्राप्त स्वर्ण समाना हुआ समाते और कहकर हर जपे हर का प्रस्तुत नहीं सकता हर की कौशल परिणाम दर्शन देते करे और जाते आपको नाम कांते हर गुंगा सबसे उत्तम हर की कथा नाम संत दर्शक बुलाता नाम की महिमा संत अवस्था संप्रत हो संत संत का संग बड़ भागी पाई है संत की सेवा नाम से आई है नाम तो कछो न होए नाम गुरु न पाए जन कोए चलो बहुत शास्त्र बहुत सिमरती देखे सब ठंडो पूजत नाई हर हरे नानक नाम अमोल अष्टरी जाप ज्ञान सब ज्ञान कर्ता कर सब ज्ञान जो अभ्यास कर्म क्रिया सब जाप धर्म देव क्रिया प्रकार की वो जतना पूर्ण होने वो रत्ना तीर्थ होने का तीव्रत नहीं तो राम नाम विचार नाम गुरु नाम जपिए एक बार नाम खर्च फिर चलिए महाउदार सती सरती है अगर मन हो प्राण तन कसव है और पुण्यदान मोरी तन करे बाबा संजन मारे संजन हत्तागर निमुख का सिर कटावे तो पी होने में न जावे हर बिना संकट कटना है नाना तो मना जग पाए कामना पीर के तुझे गरमाना मते उदय सोच कर संसारात मन की मैला तंते जा इसके को साधना करे मंत्र को न विद्या करे जातो वे पौधे यानी सदका हो काटी भी मन हर के नाम की महिमा हो नाम का नाम उदय सत्य बहुमोज बहुत से अनुजन का पौधे अभ्यंग धन का सुनना द्राप है एक गगन मुझे कोट पात्र गने से जाए सुर सुनाई उपयान मोह पे माया जाल और करतु सभी जमुना में बोल पर नंदन नहीं माने हर का नाम जो गाने बोला सरसवाई चार पदार्थ देखो मांगे साधना की सेवा लागे जेको अपना दुख मिटावे हर हर नाम रे सदकावे जेको अपनी संभालो है सासंगे हमेशों है जेको जन्म मंते गए साधना की सरणी पर जे जन को दस प्यासा करता सर्वप्रथम प्रदाता संजाता है अभिमान आस को जब जाने नीचा सो गनिय सबसे ऊंचा जाकर मन हुए सर पीना हर हर नाचन कट कट छीना मन अपने ते ब्रह्म जाना पे सर सस्कारना सुख दूजन समझ से न पापन नहीं पा निर्धन को धन तेरो नाम धन को नाम तेरा माने को तो तेरो मान सर्वदा को देवो जान राम हार स्वामी सर्वदा के अंतर जामी अपनी गत में जानो अपनी
I knew that was going to happen. Hey, it's a good thing if it falls over when you're doing your deeper compression stuff. Slam into the floor like that. I'll start over. I'm just goofing around, guys. There's a whole tutorial and stuff happening that already happened. I'm just seeing if I can do everything in 20 minutes just for fun. I'll try not to let it fall this time. Ugh. Hopefully it'll stay up that time. Ugh. So close.
चित्तु सासवारी सारे अंग में जन्म द्वारे हैं बार में सतरे प्यारे दूध पर जो बन कोई तो लिख में आओ पुरस्कार संग या बात कर दे ये गुण गुण बुद्धि बख्श दे कामना ने सिद्ध है ये प्रसाद तुम्हें सीता जा सुधारी कौन पाप अमला जय प्रताप तुम्हें संसार तुम्हारी संतान का इन हस्तपाल करने शरण से चला संघर्ष ऐसे तो गुरम पे अपने ना काढ़ करवा पे आगम जो रखना ते सो जाकी सेवा नंद पावे तो से मुड़ा मन मिलावे जो सागर सुता जुरे का कौन का रंग दूरे जाकी चार पावे तो देवा सब पावे वो ध्याना सवा एक हुरना नाथ रखना रापार रतन क्या कोटि संगत साथ
And back to the regular scheduled program. I can do this. Everything in 20 minutes. I can do this.
करतार प्रणाम जी बेनती करे नानक तुम्हारी कृपा है संसार को आवे न चीजो बैराई का सोपी भगवान के तरह की तरफ से अंधकार महारम रस जड़ कर्माने महे पति का नया में मोरे छी दर रोता मोजो कर्म रोतो ये आमनुत बयाने कई दम अंतरा खुले आपन कर तुम धर्म तुम पैरवा दियो पिंड सब तेरी रात तुम मर्द का हम बारक तेरे तुम्हारी कृपा में शोक मेरे कोई न जाने तोरा अंत उच्चते ऊंचा कलवम सब तुम्हारी तुम्हें सुतरतारी तुम तो है सो आज्ञाकारी तुमरी गत में तो तुमनी जानी नानक दास सदा कुर्बानी करो दीनार प्रभ छोड़ के लागे आन सुहाए नानक कहो न सीधई बिनावे पक जाए अस्पति अस्पति के पाचे पावे बस्ता के घर गवावे एक न दे दस्ती है तो मोड़ा का करे जिसा को सुनाई चार का को कीजे सलम शिकार जाते मरवा का कमी था पर सुता मनुष्य जिसने अपना हुक्म मनाया तो नाम चल पाया अघन शाह अपने दे राधा पे बचे आंदोला अपनी मान तक बहुत सादे अग्नि मारुत करे अपनी प्रतिता को वह बहुत का विश्वास न होए जिसकी बच्चा गया थे प्रति अगमन मत उससे कम करने आना सहस गया अनपान माया के सफल जाना रे धरती काया सोरंग गावे ओम निश्चय ओम पछतावे जो विश्व सो तमाला पे होता है अंगार बताओ जो जो लावे नेता को आत्मा रखे मन हर के नाम की त्रिशोताई गए पाना के आप रहनाई नित्या बंधन कुदम सुवाया नित्या हमें ममता माया नित्या राजो तमान का क्रोध करा नित्या रातस्य सुबस्ता नित्या समाया पे करता
Much time? 5 minutes. Yeah, come on, I'll try. Definitely can't do Taiji. Definitely can't do Bagwa. I got 5 minutes. Bil Jee, Baht Jaam Do, Qing Quan, maybe the Filipino stuff. We'll see. Let's keep pushing up.
व्यक्ति साधुकिया जासाधना करो रसूता बिरखाना बिना तनम मुखा होता है दुर्गन जैसे रंगे रंग सागराय निर्णय जप की जाए गोविंद गोविंद से सौकवन कर संकनाथ दान तान तान के जन्मे तत्व से नाम सुता कह बर बर जाऊं रहकर कठोर गुणात्मा ने कृष्ण को मंगा जन हाथों पर भी बात न कहूं और जैसे अपना दया जाओ समय मरे जिसके अंतर वसन का संसार जो तुमका निकल हो जाता नान को न कर पाता करो बेनती पालन सजा ने अपना किया पैमाने आपे आपा बाप सपन मेरा किसे गुजरा किसे बुझाओ मेरा उपास से सब तेरा संग जाने आत्म की है जिस पार लड़ाए कांतन करा समाए तो सेवक जिस कृपा करी निरुख निरुख जप नाम पारी सरो आप तो प्यारे दो बंदो हो गण सुधाए आहमे नानक प्रभु शरणागति कर प्रसाद गुरुदेव अष्टपदी जय प्रसाद सुखी अमृत श्रद्धा करा कमरमान जय प्रसाद बनता लाभ है तुझको संतन गलपान जय प्रसाद बसन को मंदिर से प्यार सलाम मंदिर जय प्रसाद संतोष नाथ स्मृत रसना जय प्रसाद अंगत को नाम साध्य चावन जो जय प्रसाद पार कुटुंब हटावे सत्या का तत्वावे जय प्रसाद से जन्म करता का जस्ता विजय जय प्रसाद को सब को सत्संग बताने
3 minutes, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Maybe one more sequence. And then I'll goof around for a minute.
जय प्रसाद पुत्र सारी जन्म जैसा समाज की जय जय प्रसाद असुर तत्वाई मते तत्व नौरे मसाई जय प्रसाद आनंद आपको पलक मना जय तेरी मन बनाई उठ गज सब जगह आई जय 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 सलक नाम महान तेरी रख जय प्रसाद करे कुंभा धाम मार का दुखा ज्ञान जय प्रसाद मोचा बिहारी कृष्ण को सासा सिखाई जय प्रसाद रसुंदरो सोता सुरो सदानो जय प्रसाद कन्या की जासो प्रसन्न समाचार जय प्रसाद तेरी पत्र है पर प्रसाद नाम रखता है जय प्रसाद सुने करना जय प्रसाद के ध्यान समाज जय प्रसाद भोले है मत रखना जय प्रसाद को सहजे रखना जय प्रसाद हस्त पर चले जय प्रसाद को पूर्ण फले जय प्रसाद जय प्रसाद को कह समाए ऐसा को त्याग
This should be it.
जय प्रसाद
40 seconds. Look at it in 40 seconds.
जय प्रसाद तेरा प्रताप मन मूर्खता को जा जय प्रसाद
This
तेरा
time.
पूरे इसे जान मन सदा होए जय प्रसाद को पावन सारे मन मेरे पिता सोरा जय प्रसाद पिता को इनाम बुझा जप जसो आज पांच बसना आपका सुहर मुर्गा प्रभु कृपा के हर प्रदास को दया से कौन होगा प्रसो प्रसन्न बसमा सोए प्रभु दया से मत उत्तम होए करुणा तो तेरी माया आपको कृष्ण की मुलाया नित्य सलाह हो के तलब है हरनाथ नानक जय कशोनाथ
That should be it. 2 hours. Okay. I'll calm down. No, I won't. Hey, for what it's worth, anybody who ever watches this far, I don't do no pre-workouts, and I only drink tea as far as my strongest caffeine. I'm 42, no PEDs, no pre-workouts. Train for longevity, not for now.
साल का संग गोचर में रहे साल का संग सदा पर फुले साल का संग आए बचपन चा साल संग अमृत पंचा साल संग
Funny thing, I really wanted to do it 2 a day, so I got what I wanted, I guess. I am sore from that first round. Just switch sides. Yep, no other way. Brutal. Reverses up, forward back. Yeah, these things are stinking heavy. Oh, wait, not done. Good grief. Okay. It's hard to find the flat sides. Come on, let's be a punk. So stupid. Come on.
कर सबका तनि करो और तारे जो अंतर नाम सर्व में पेखे भगवान निमुख निमुख ठाकुर नमस्कार नानक ओ अपरस सगल निस्तारे अष्टपदी मिथ्यानाय रचना पश्चिमाना चरित नारायण पत्र लोकना के मित्र साथ विचार संगे करना सुन काम के निंदा सत्य जन आप गोमंदा गुरु प्रसाद दिया पर मन की वासना मन से जाए इंद्रिय जलपन जो तेरा ना गोस्वामी को ऐसा पर वैष्णव संत पर सो प्रसन्न विष्णु की मान देवतन कर्म करतो मैंने तो वैष्णव का निमंत्रण गाँव करती चानी वासना के प्रति संग्राम है माता दर्शन गोपाल सो पुरोहित कृपाल आप दृढ़ नाम दिखावे नाम को वैष्णव परम गलपावे तो भक्ति पवन पदकरम सत्या गैदुष दर्शन भक्ति निष्ठा सल्ला परम कर पूजा स्वर पारगम सासम पापा मल खोवे सत्य भक्ति की मात उत्पन्न होवे बहुत कृतज्ञ करने प्रीत माता प्रवेशन करे हर के चरण देव सावे नानक सबोति पवन को पावे सो पंडित जो मन प्रबोधे राम आत्मा सोधे राम नाम सारस दिव्यस पंडित के देजा जीवे हर की कथा हृदय बसावे सो पंडित फिर जो न आवे वेद प्राण समर्थ भुजय वो सुखों में जामिया सो चौवर्णा को दे उपदेश नाम उस पंडित को सदा दे बीज मंत्र सब को ज्ञान चौवर्णा में जपे को नाम जो जो जगह किसी का तो शासन पावा जन कोई करके पांत्र है पत्र में पत्र को तारे सर्व काया कितना को याद मंगल पुण्य
These have duct tape on them. They're not regular rattan. Sucks. Alright, where was I? Papillon, Panico.
सदा निकट निकट हर जान सौदा कर गया प्रवान अपने दास को आपके पाकर जता को सरस्वती पड़े सर्व संगातों दास सिद्धत नाम कराम दास कल किया ज्ञात महता में जन्म सोता है
Man, these are fast. I doubt it.
संता सासुखान तनयो जैसा संत तुम्हारी दाता वो सती प्रसादी
I did better than I thought. This, I know I can't left it fast.
जो बताए साई जतनान को परकैया मुके सारम के सरठा उन्नत कराके सत नाम
I messed that up.
आपे कर्म जो प्रपाय सोई फन हो पत्र आपन तरंग घर जाय कारगम फेरम जैसे माते का साप्रगार कारगम करता जनाब सदा स्वास्थ्य गया सुन सुन नाम कहने हाल चलो उस्तत करे अनेक जान अंत न पारा नानक रचना प्रवृत्ति पवन संत प्रसाद करे कई कोट है पुजारी के कोट आचार्य है कई कोट का केसवा के कोट मंत्र में उदासी कई कोट वेद श्रोते कई कोट कपिस्त्र होते कई कोट आत्मचार है कई कोट का विचार है कई कोट न तनाव से है नानक के काम तना पावे
I ain't doing it
कई
again.
कोट पैमानी कई कोट नंद ज्ञानी कई कोट करता कई कोट अभिका करने को कई कोट पर को है कई कोट पर दुख ना कर है कई कोट माया शर्माए कई कोट प्रदेश समाए जित लाओ पितर नान करते की जाने करता रचना कई कोट सिद्ध गति जोगी कई
It's taken me 30 minutes to do all that.
कई
Alright.
कोट पंक्ति सर्पों पाए कई कोट पात्र वृत्त में बजाए कई कोट पानी बसंतर कई कोट देश भूमंडल कई कोट सत्या स्वर्ण नक्षत्र कई कोट देवान अंदर सरशता सब समोर अपने सुतारे नाम जैसे पावे तेतर निस्तारे कई कोट राजस काम साथ कई कोट वेद प्रसन्नता साथ कई कोट कीर्तन समुद कई कोट नाना प्रकार जन कई कोट कीर्तन जीवे कई कोट दी में स्वयं देवे कई कोट जाकर प्रसाद कई कोट भूत प्रेत सुख मृगात सब निवास होते दो नाम का परिपत्र या परपूर कई कोट पाताल के वासी कई कोट नक्षुद निवासी कई कोट जन्म है जीव है मर है कई कोट पर जोनी फिर है कई कोट बैठ सिल खाए कई कोट पहले तक पाए कई कोट किए तरवन कई कोट माया में चिन जय जय पाना तय तैला के नाना सब प्रभ कह हाथे कई कोट पह बैरागी नाम नाम संत जोगागी कई कोटों को खोलते आत्मा पार्वत रहते कई कोट दर्शन करता आत्मा को मिलो कब अवनाश कई कोट मांग है सत्संग कई पार करना कारण जन को है आपको सत्संग नानक के जन सदा तन कई कोट खानी अर्खन कई कोट का
Gotta dry this up before I do Bagwa. I'll bust my face. Be tripping all over the place.
सदा सदा के कंकार कई कोट में बहुपान तप ब्रह्मा
Just for good measure.
कई कोट पार के दातनो ता संप्रकाश कई कोट तप के बेसान हारे को नेतरे कई कोट ना हस्ती है और पैसा सद ही जीव है
Forgot the last part. Thank God. Tangled up on me. No! I was just goofing around. That wasn't the plan.
परमेश्वर के प्यारे सो कारण कारण सब एक है दूसरा नहीं कोई नानक दस बलिहार है जातर नहीं आले सो मस्करी अंतरान करने जो जो छुपावा सोई हो
Anyway, let it dry. Let that dry for a minute. Moving on to Tai Chi. Guys, I'm just goofing around and jamming. I already did the other thing like an hour 40. So I was just seeing how quickly I could do everything else again. I'm at 32 minutes. So it took me an hour 40 the first time because of the tutorials. But I'm just goofing around. Alright. Just Shingy and Bagwa left, and that's it for me tonight. It's a good 2 a day, did everything twice. Once with tutorials, once without tutorials. Second one's for me though. That's at 36 minutes. That's not bad for all that. I couldn't get the Bagwa earlier. That might help. So I had to go all the way. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Sitting everywhere, I'm all stupid for Bagwa, it's gonna suck. One left. How long is it taking? It's 40 minutes. Should get in 45. Still look better than before. Let's go. Should have a place to go.
पया कितना में चलो इनानु जाने सच्चा सोए सापर पुष्के होकर सदा सदा किसको
Best I can do.
प्रकृति करो तेरा सत्यावे सागरा सबसे वस्ते जिसका किया जा सकता सब किया अपना तेरा चरण हाथ दूसरा कौन कर विचार जितना कृपा करे से अपना दे बड़ भागी नानक जन से करो तजो से आनक सुर जनो सिमरार हर राय एक आसार मन रखो नानक दुख परम पाओ जाय अष्टई मानो किते गति सजा देवन को भगवान इसके दिए रहे आगाए को नक्श न लगे आए मारे राखे एको आग मानो कक्ष नहीं आग इसका कंगूर तो कोई चुकाना रखन करोए सिमर सिमर तो पासोए नानक भगन न लगे कोई उस दुश्मन न करना का कर्म मेरे सत्यवान इमरसना अमृत पियो सब सहला कर दियो नैनो के ठाकुर करण का संग सत्संग चरण चलो मार्ग गोविंद जगदे पाजतिया हर कर हर कथा हर कर दैनन पूजन मता वड भागी ते जंगल माय स्वासा हर के गुण गाए राम नाम जो करे विचा से
I did something wrong. Let's go back to 1, 2, position 3. Oh, and the count by 1. This one over again.
जैसा पत्र साधुसार अपने काज में हाथ समाया सोते 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 सिद्धिया पुत्र पाता प्रभु दया जब देखो तो सब बोलना सो सुख सोया तो नैक जन्म नैक सुमरे अपन जो तापी करे आवन जाओ कृष्ण जागरा करी तारी सबसे आपे आसुर में आपन रुद्रा का होता अपना सीना है कुछ गंध पार पार ब्रह्मण अलखा पे पुरुष प्रतावा दिवाय ताना गजा जब पौधा तस्व पावन को फल देते मनते सबके से सरुदान सबके से दुख सायम आपे मेरे कृपाल का सजा करने हाथ उनकी सेवा सोई ना दर्शन कृपा करे बढ़ता है नाम जब पावन नाम चंद्र को तन कर्मान जो उसका सुखा करम स्वासा बचा हसन सस्व हुआ तो होए करने हाथ बिछाने सोए रक्षा किया जानी ठड़काना जैसा पत्थर का बिछाना जैसे जित समान सुनाए हुए सुखन दानों बने आए आप सुखो आदीनो मान नानक प्रवचन एको जान सदो सर्व कला पर पूर्व जिथा जानन हार जाते सुमरण उतरी है नानक तिस बलिहार अष्टपदी टूटी गानन हार सुपा सर्विया पिपत्पार स्वर की चिंता मनमानित से करता कोई नाय हे मन मेरे साह जाओ ना सिपवा किया आपन किया कुछ न होए जो स्वपानी होता कोई इस पर नहीं तेरा जिसका वर्णन जपे करना रूपन को नहीं मोह पर की जो सर कट सो है तनमन पावे क्या तो कर गए जा सकते जिसका की बदल गए अब सूरा दिल को कहावे तब की कला बना कह कहवे देखो होए रह दातार किसके हाथ जाने गवार देखो प्रसाद हम लोग ना सो जा सुधा जो मंत्र का तमन संग का शब्द मरे अस्तमन जो का नाम चढ़ता है पानी गुड़ चमला तरसता है जो अंधकार की प्रगा गुड़ संदेह मन होए बिगाड़
Got sticky at the end from sweat, whatever. I gotta redo it because I messed up. I ain't stopping until I do that one right. How long did the whole thing take me? If I get in 45 minutes, Almost. Almost. Without that mistake, I'm going to have in 45 minutes all the sequences. So in 2 weeks, I'll do it all in 45 minutes, no talking. We gotta be sitting somewhere. I'm sticking. Things are sweat somewhere. Yeah, set and dry. My legs are super gassed after that. That's why I got mad last time. That guy was like, "You don't do enough leg workouts." So I wear the shorts to be like, "Yes, I do." Right there. All it takes is one drop of sweat, man. Freaking end of the world for Bagwa. The best workout I've had in a while. Doing 2 days. Yeah, man. Awesome stuff. Alright, one more time. Come on. Do this. So. Okay. There was one. I can do this. Alright, one more. For Avatar, the last airbender, his style was Bagwa. Why am I drawing blank on his name? What's the Avatar's name? I can't think of it right now. I gotta do this. Can't believe I forgot the Avatar's name. Anyway, not the point. Ooh, my knees. Now let's do socks. Still want to do it. But my knees are getting caught up in those shoes. Socks should be better, hopefully. A little slippery, but right. There we go. Better. Gotta be careful with the socks doing this.
आपे गुणकारी सप्त सत सप्त भवता सत 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 संता पुनः तो सत होए नानक सत सत सोए सत उदय माने गंगा जल प्रसन्नया जाकर ने बसा पाया सत्य तो डाया कहते ने कोहर बसाना चतुर्दश समाना बस मारे बस बड़ाई का को कितना कहना जाए बुझे बुझन हार भवे नारायण मेरे नानक के ठाकुर का सेवका के आकारी ठाकुर का सेवका पुजारी ठाकुर के सेवक है मंत्री ठाकुर के सेवक ही निर्माणी ठाकुर का सेवक जाने संग का सेवना कहरंग सेवक को प्रपालन हारा सेवक की राखी नंकारा सो सेवक जा प्रतारे नानक सो सेवक का साथ हमारे अपने दरका पर राजा के अपने सेवक की सत्ता राखे अपने दास को दे बजाई अपने सेवक को नाम जपाई अपने सेवक की आपत रखे ताकि अपने को न रखे प्रभु के सेवक को न पहुंचे प्रभु के सेवक उल्टे उल्टे जो प्रभु अपने सेवा लाया न सो सेवक जाया नीति कीड़ी में करा के पशु करेलस कर को लाखे जिसका साधना कर इतिहास को रख दे कर मान जपन तत्व पांच के करते से जा मारे न राखे न तोड़े सोचती न कर रखा सोए काहे सोते पानी दवना न रख बढ़ानी बार 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 तो जपिया की अमृत मंत्र जपिया नाम तंदर गुरु पाया चित्त से नाम जगाया नाम करना मोरू प्राण नाम सुखर नाम कसा नाम राजो जपता ने मंत्र नाम नाम समाने उठत बैठ तो नाम को नाम जपता का बोलो जल्दी बातें रात अपने जनती नींदा करे को तासों के चाहे तो अपने सुर है समाए जो हुआ तो जाने अपने गाँव को पहचाने जिसकी महिमा कौन बखाना जिसका गुण का एक ना जानो आज पहर प्रभ से हजूरे कहो नानक से जन पूरे मन मेरे जन की उठले मन सना पाते जाने जिनना प्राप्त प्रसादा सुर सब तो पादा इतनी सरसर सपावत जगत सपा नचावे और से आना सभी चाहत जन की तुझसे वाला पावन जाना होली तेरा नाम से जन पूजा सद पैरा
That's the best I can do there today. I'm done. I got a hole in my heel. If you saw me lose balance, the socks were slippery, and then I tore a hole in the heel. And when I caught that heel, my foot just locked. I got off balance. But I'll do Bagwa 3 times next time, beginning with clean and smooth, in the middle like when I'm supposed to, and at the end with better socks with no holes. But I'm a holy man. What can I say? All right, I'm cutting out of here, guys. Check out the whole. I mean, I guess don't watch the whole 2.5 hours, but there's a lot of tutorials in the first hour and 40 minutes. There's tutorials for stick and sword and knife. A lot of tutorials for reverse breathing. In the beginning, I explained reverse breathing for compressing, and solidifying core, and then one for projecting. One's for meditative and/or external use, and then the other one's for external use. I'll explain it really quick. So the lesson was reverse breathing. When you're projecting, you do something like in boxing or in Wing Chun. You squeeze in and up when you breathe in. You squeeze in and up when you breathe out. So it's you don't shoot anything down. It's boom, 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 boom. You're always breathing out, and then when you're not breathing out, you're constantly pulling in. So that's your projected breath. Or if it's Wing Chun, you see you're constantly pulling in and then projecting out, compressing. But if you're doing something more like white crane or southern mantis or meditating or just basic qigong, you're going to breathe up into your chest, and then when you push down, I call it shooting the arrow, you'll push the blood pressure down and compress it with your false dantian, your Huyan cavity, and back where your kidneys are at the same time, like with Gwut Gung. Like, you can't see, but I'm pulling a lot of blood pressure. And for this one, don't let nobody tell you you can't expand your chest. I mean, if you're doing Gwut Gung, rib bone power, you're supposed to be expanding your chest and then compressing all the blood pressure down into your lower dantian or your Wang Ting cavity, however you want to look at it. But that's the same lesson from the beginning. It's a lot more in depth, so go check it out and check out the tutorials. But that was a 2 a day, 2.5 hours of Kung Fu. Thank you for stopping by the Boken Buddha. Sifu Joseph Singh. Out. Peace and blessings.
जाकर मर पड़